You've lowered it on me, but I'm still taking it because it has the word spray in it.
The bar is like 12-year-old bathroom for you, low, as far as humor goes, and I love that so much. You just want to spray all over the enemies with
Yes.
colorful. Uh, we'll just stop with that.
Yeah, we probably should. Hello, friends. Robert Bevan here, author of the Caverns and Creatures series of comedy, fantasy novels, and short stories. With me is Sam West, and today we're talking about the spell Color Spray.
I'm
Oh,
positive I was frozen the entire time you were going through the intro because I didn't hear a word you said, but we're here now. And that's what counts. And
well, clearly you heard Color Spray, or you just had a seizure or something.
that was the seizure. It was definitely the latter.
Okay.
Uh, so this is a spell for Sorcerer Wizards. It is a first level spell, action time cast, range is a self. It's got a 15-foot cone. Throws a pinch of powder or sand that's colored red, yellow, and blue. It's like a firework, like a pew, dazzle, hello, 4th of July, that kind of crap. A dazzling array of flashing colored light springs from your hand. Roll 6d10. The total is how many hit points of creatures the spell can affect. Creatures in a 15-foot cone originating from you are affected in ascending order of their current hit points, ignoring unconscious creatures and creatures that can't see. Starting with the creature that has the lowest current hit points, each creature affected by the spell is blinded until the end of your next turn. Subtract each creature's hit points to the total before moving on to the next lowest hit points. Creature's hit points must be equal to or less than the remaining total for the creature to be affected. Cast a spell using a second level or higher slot, add 2d12 or 2d10 damage for each level above first.
All right.
Do you have thoughts and
This is a
feelings about
fun
color
little
display?
one.
I like
What's
this whole
that?
thing. I like
Yeah.
this thing too. I like the mechanic a lot. I like the hit point based AoE saves. I think this is kind of a really fair way to balance the big area effect, conditional effects. Like sleep is kind of the same. Where if sleep was just
Right.
everything in this area goes under, that's crazy at first level. But if it's stable to a certain amount of hit points, you kind of have some interesting choices, some fun sculpting. And I honestly wish more spells in this game were like this. I wish like Fear used this kind of mechanic and stuff like that because they could afford to be a little bit worse. And this is more reasons to roll a lot of dice. I like that too. Now, can we use
All right.
can we
Well,
go
go
over what the
ahead.
blinding condition does?
Yeah, go ahead and do that.
All right, so blinded. Well, blinded creature can't see, automatically fails any ability checks that require sight. Additionally, attack rolls against the creature have advantage, and the creature's attack rolls have disadvantage. This is kind of like a one-round version of Fairy Fire when you boil it down like that, right? Except not only is it easier for you to hit them, they have a harder time hitting you, so that's kind of cool. You can do some things where, because this doesn't give them any kind of save, it's a guaranteed way to get a blind out there. The big sticking point and problem that I think this thing has is its total dice that the total hit points you're affecting, even at first level, is pretty low. It's hitting 33 hit points worth of creatures. So like 2 or 3 low CR monsters, and those are the creatures I tend to want to affect least with this. You know?
Well, I mean, you're a first level caster. Um, maybe you're fighting a band of goblins or something.
Okay,
Um,
well let's go into that hypothetical real quick. I think that's a pretty easy example to
wait,
compare us.
before we do
Okay,
that, I have one question. Do
sure.
you know who's been affected?
I would guess yes. I think it would be apparent by how they would act. So as a DM,
Yeah.
I would rule yes, you would know.
All right. If that's the case, then I like this for well, yeah, we'll get into it, but you can go one of two ways. All right, there's 8 creatures. I blind 3 of them. Now, I can take the next, my party can take the next turn to fight the ones that haven't been blinded, because they're the bigger threats, or the ones that are blinded, I know also have the least amount of hit points. So they're the easiest to take down in one shot
And general
and
strategy and
easier to hit.
yeah, general strategy in 5th edition is reduce enemy actions as fast as you can.
Right.
And that's a way to do it, right? Just kill the weaklings, call the herd, make it easier for you in the long term. So if we look at the 3 goblin scenario, though, that we painted earlier, you're doing 33 hit points to divide up. If there's 2 things with 15 hit points, this can blind 2 15 hit point creatures. If anything has 10 or fewer hit points, we have a problem, and that problem is Burning Hands. Because Burning Hands would kill them outright, because it does 10.5 damage on average, which means if you're trying to blind a lot of little things, you could just kill them.
That's
right?
true. All right.
That's a pretty big problem with this, right?
Yeah. That's
The more
something I
things
had
you
not
would
considered.
affect, the more you likely would have killed. Because it's not like 60-10, everything with under 60-10 HP goes down.
Yeah.
It's divide up 60-10 damage, which sounds like a lot in dice terms, because you compare to 3d6, and that's way bigger. But 3d6 spread over 3 creatures is 9d6. Through 60-10 spread over 3 creatures is 66, or 60-10, and that's comparable. So you do really need to want to blind one 33 hit point thing or two 15 hit point things and still value the blind over just dealing half their HP in a blow,
Yeah.
right? And that's where I think this kind of falls apart.
All right.
I
But it
honestly
can
wish,
be upcast.
yeah, don't do that, because 2d10 does not save this remotely for a spell level higher, especially given how short the range is. If you're upcasting
And the
this,
duration.
hear me out. What if you cast the spell Blindness Deafness? That would just
Yeah.
blind a thing for a minute. Everything's got advantage on attack rolls against it. It hits around the same targets that you care to prioritize. Like, that seems better to me, right? I guess that has them make a save. If you need the thing to be blinded for a round, and you go, okay, I know it's got under 50 hit points, upcast Color Spray, guarantee the 1 round blind. That could be a thing you consider, because this is a real way to get a guaranteed blind if you know information about the target, right? If you know how many hit points they have. I say guarantee, assuming you roll high enough, because this I keep saying it like it's a static number. It's not. It's a varied number.
Yes.
I don't know about this thing.
You've lowered it on me, but I'm still taking it because it has the word spray in it.
The bar is like 12-year-old bathroom for you, low, as far as humor goes, and I love that so much. You just want to spray all over the enemies with colorful. Yes. We'll just stop with that.
Yeah, we probably should.
I don't hate color spray still, even though it isn't great. Comparing it to a spell that I rate pretty highly, which is Burning Hands in the low tiers, this is worse than that, I think, more often than not. The situations you want to cast it, I don't think are very evident. You want this to be a blind against a single 30 hit point creature, not a blind against 15 things in a 15-foot cone that hit multiples. This honestly gets a lot worse if there's just the goblin boss that you want to blind that's making 2 attacks a turn and his 1 lackey. You really wish that lackey wasn't there, because it prioritizes it first, so that it blinds that thing and not the boss that you want to. So you kind of have to sculpt it out and try and aim it in the right direction and stuff. And there's a little hiccups,
a 15-foot cone isn't too hard. I mean, you were talking about aiming fireballs before. Yeah, a 15-foot cone, you can get around the lackey.
Yeah, you should be able to sculpt it pretty consistently. I mean, there's not that much more to say about this. I don't think I'd cast it on an average adventurer. If I am playing, like, I don't know, a bard don't even get it. So your sorcerer or wizard, you have to want to cast this.
Sorcerer the sorcerer.
There we go. We found a new garbage spell for him to cast alongside the real good spell web. I will say there's one option in this game that actually wants to cast this. That's the Lunar Sorcerer, because they get a free use of it, that you want to find how to use free uses of these kinds of spells. And I like that a lot. I like that there's an option in this game that is encouraged to use a spell that is normally not worth casting for the most part, because they get it for free. That's kind of cool. This has a free or bonus prepared spell, I think, is when you're probably going to cast it the most, just to be like, well, I need something else to do here. I'm just going to blind it because I'm out of other resources, or I need to do other resources on my next turns, or whatever. I want to conserve things, or the blind is as valuable now as it's going to be. Like, there are going to be some small spots where you'll cast it, but it's probably like a 2. I don't think this thing is particularly powerful, right?
Well, maybe you want to blind somebody, but you don't want to kill them. That's
for a round.
Yes. Not thinking of many good reasons to want to do that.
It feels like the
maybe you want to keep
American
the lackey
Dad
alive.
Pocket Sand, right? Like you blind him and you sprint and you just hope you get out of town fast enough.
No, I was
you want to
thinking
keep a lackey alive.
The goblin leader and his lackey You know the leader's not going to give up any information, but if you blind the little guy, take out the leader, and then you're alone with him. Now he's
So
going to talk.
in this scenario, as opposed to you helping take out the leader, you're trying to make the other guy moderately worse. That doesn't seem great.
No.
That's something you could do. You're allowed to do it. I'm getting lower on this thing the more we talk about it.
Maybe we should stop.
Okay.
Or you,
2 it is.
you blind
2
the
out of
leader.
5.
Sculpt it around the leader, blind
Yeah.
him, everybody beats on him, then you
Sure.
capture the lackey.
And you have to say, like, this is worth... The advantages are going to be worth more than the average damage of an area of effect. I could see that being true.
It'd be the...
With enough martial characters.
Yeah, with enough martial characters against your burning hands, then... Yeah.
Over, like, a single target burning hands, I definitely think is worse than a single target version of this on average. I would probably be rather have, like, 3 allies have advantage and that thing is disadvantage on attack roll than 10 damage. I think that's probably a trade I'm taking. So, okay. Yeah, 2 seems fair.
Yeah.
Comment is, would you take that trade? Am I wrong? Would you just rather cast burning hands? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below.
I'm still taking this over it, but I can't justify that logically. So, yeah, 2 it is. All right, that was Color Spray. Thank you, Sam, and thank you everyone for watching. Let us know your thoughts down in the comments section below. Like, subscribe, and we will see you next time. Goodbye.